Hello again. So, as I said, I was going to make this video about politeness. And in Greek, in order to express politeness, we use the so-called plural of politeness. That means that in order to actually refer to someone in a polite way, you use plural forms instead of singular forms. That's actually the way it works. Like, I think that's the main way, if there is even any other, to express politeness in Greek. It's about the same pattern as it is in French, for example, I think, if I'm not mistaken, where you just use plural forms instead of singular forms. So some simple examples, which is like what I said in the previous video. You have, for example, Γεια σου, Γεια σας. I don't think I have spoken specifically about what these words actually are, but never mind that for now. Just keep in mind that this is a singular form and this is a plural form. So you would use this when talking to one person, and you would use this when talking to a group of people, no matter the amount. But you can actually use it as well when talking to one person and you want to show politeness. Also, you need to change everything about the other person, the person that you're trying to be polite to, into plural. So for example, that goes for verbs as well. An example, τι κάνεις. Τι κάνετε. This is the second person singular of κάνω. So what are you doing? How are you? It's the actual translation. And this is second person plural. So you're just talking to them as if it's a group of people, but you're only talking to one person, and that gives off the vibe of politeness. Also, the same goes for the person himself. When you use this, the pronoun you, εσύ, this is informal and impolite technically. You use εσείς instead, which is actually you, all of you, y'all, but you use it as a polite form. That's simple. So everything goes into plural concerning the person that you're talking to. Like, if you don't let me be actually misunderstood concerning this. You don't change anything about yourself into plural, only the other person. So if you have an εγώ somewhere, you don't go εμείς and pretend it's polite, and you're actually being more polite by referring to yourself in the plural. That's not how it works. Everything concerning the other person goes into plural. So, after giving it some thorough thought, I actually cut this video in half to actually inject this kind of video like in between, because I may have made a mistake or not have been as clear as I actually should have been, because after watching the video, I noticed that I kind of feel like it's obvious, but it's probably not obvious to, for example, native English speakers who don't even have this kind of thing in their language. So I'll try to elaborate by showing some examples, because it's not that everything, like totally everything goes into plural. So let me take these examples that I was just showing. Γεια σας. It's just, let's say it's an example of a conversation. Γεια σας, τι κάνετε? Hi, how are you? This is correct up to now. Let's say we pose a question. Είστε. As you can see, this is plural. This is indeed plural. Here, εσείς is implied and not even written. Ο καθηγητής. So, ο καθηγητής is the professor, the teacher, or whatever you like. So, as you can see, the predicate in this case, and not the object, but you understand, this word is going to be in the singular form, because otherwise you're going to be asking, are you the professors? And that's kind of, you're overdoing it. You're trying to overreach. It doesn't mean anything. You wouldn't say that. So, the object, or the property, like the same goes for adjectives. You wouldn't turn the adjectives like ο μεγάλος, I don't know, the big. Εσείς είστε ο μεγάλος something. you would still use singular here, because you're actually making that person, instead of being polite, you're turning him into many things. So he can't be the professors, he can only be the professor. So yeah, you're gonna take the plural forms of verbs, of pronouns, but not in the nouns that describe them, or the adjectives. And I think that clarifies it a bit better. So I hope this kind of interjection actually nipped it in the bud. So, this is the pattern that you use to be polite. Also, you have some titles, like a bit formal-ish. Kyrios, Kyria. This means Sir, Mr, Madam, Miss. And of course, if you would use them to call someone, you would use vocative. So, this is vocative. And this is also vocative. It's actually the same thing, but you know, you technically need to do the declension. So, this is the vocative form. So when you're referring to someone, you want to get their attention, you would say Kyrie, and address them using plural forms. That would give off the vibe of politeness. It's a way to not offend anyone, although it does sound a bit too formal. There are people that get offended when you use too formal forms, because formal forms that are usually used in like significantly big age differences, in job interviews, in the army. So you're giving off a vibe of I want to be very, how do you say, I want to not offend, in a sense. Θέλω να είμαι τυπικός. I can't really find the words to say that in English right now, so if anyone actually finds it, that would be good. And there are some words that you can that you can actually use to be polite to younger ages too, but they're a bit old-fashioned now. This beneath is Mrs., if I'm not mistaken. It's like young lady, okay? And although it's not, this is a bit more informal. I don't think there is actually anything, there might be, I just don't know it, a corresponding word for this beneath for the male counterpart. And this beneath is, no, you would use this beneath in any case. Nearos. So it's this beneath for vocative as well. And neare as vocative. So this is like a way to get someone, the attention of someone who's younger, and try to not be, you know, rude, and try to be polite. And you would still use plural forms if you wanted to. Like, this is a very good way of using some titles if you don't know the other person, you're not familiar, you don't want to offend, and stuff like that. So I think that covers most of the things you should know concerning politeness in Greek. And I suppose I'll see you all in the next video.